You know what's funny? It's 1:17 in the morning. 1 and 1 is 11. 1 and 1 onto the 7 is 9. 11, 9. But it's not that. It's just like, I'm bipolar, right? So everybody stereotypes what a bipolar is all about. But it's more than what you actually think. I go for supper tonight. I say to the person next to me, can it be online or offline? And his wife, right across the table, the minute I finished that, during that sentence and while I was finishing, she's starting to come out talking about things online and offline. Just like that. Things, how can I explain it? There's no reality in my world. The only reality in my world is, hey guys, let's go watch the football game. Oh, it's a 6-point touchdown. He gets the convert or he goes for the 2-point play for the world on the east and the one on the west. Because when you went to the Wizard of Oz, there was the Wicked Witch of the east, the Wicked Witch of the west. Who was central, we not know, or I not know, or you may know. So we watch football. So there's 100 yards. So big deal. Two teams, 50 yards each. But if they were nose to nose on the 50-yard line, the referee could not referee the game. The in-between, the judge between the two sides that takes no sides at all, the instant replay, the truth comes in. We play hockey. It's a 1-goal game. But there was an assist by 2 other players. They don't count the next one, because as you count the next one, 1, 2, 3, and you get to 4, you're on the next line, so they only count the 2. So I only bring the reasonable understanding between the game and the actual rules of the game, and the action that happens during the game that implement these rules to happen. They are numbers, they are calculated, and it's not just picked out of a hat. And then again, it is picked out of a hat. But God has prepared everybody's hat. So when you're picking something out of the hat, you can't actually make an error when it's already been in the league. Because some of the rules change, not because of error, because of the way the rule qualifies within. You're in hockey, you have a fight, they let you fight. All of a sudden, they're bringing in the police. They're doing steroids in baseball, and they're bringing in the police. This is not a thing about the police. This is not about creating more rules and more laws. This is not the problem. The problem is the implication and the understanding of the basics, of the freedom of all games that are played, because it all comes in equality and balance. If it can happen for the East, it must happen for the West. Even though you have 2 hands, they are facing each other ready to clap. But you can turn them around and you can almost sound, and I'd be a seal. The seal of life. What other sports do we have? Soccer. And I know I've done this before, but I like to throw it back and forth over and over again. I mean, it's almost like looking at this here. Just take this one here. Just see the way it goes in and it looks like a diamond in the center, right? If you take a look at it, it's a Greek letter for sigma. And here's the other one. They actually look like E and E, 3 and 3. This is the world in between. This is what connects the spirit. This is how it travels and how it works. This one, this one, this one. But there is a bigger bubble on this, and there is a smaller bubble that goes in between. O or 0. As God starts a monopoly, -5 and +5 on go, he's still on go 1, but he's at point 0. So he makes a big 0, and he puts the 1 inside of it. When you get to the letter, let's say L, you put a big 0, and you put the M inside of it. M-N-O-P. 0 is a hole in a passage. When you put something inside the 0, hey, look what's happening. A straw at the bottom is a 0. But when you start sucking on all the zeros, it comes right up into you. So the passage brings in the necessities of life. The passage. It's in here. It is very difficult to get. I can't stand, I mean, I love doing this and I like doing it alone, but right now it's time for bed. And let me just show you The last 2 days or 3 days, this is all the information that has to be retransferred. Besides the 100 pages that I wrote in the last 6 days and ripping out pages, because I'm trying to try to find a way that I don't want to convey anything. I just want to show the message. It's inside of everything. This is just a few letters of the Roman numerals, but an M, right? It's actually M-E-M, or to like, but it's me, D, C-L, Midzi. It means lunchtime sky, X-V, X-V. 5, X is 29, it means the birth from within. XV, the electronic life. Life of 4 ones, but it's not 4 ones, it's 1/4. We put 4 ones here for 1/4, but what actually is it's 4 ones minus 1 1. So it's actually 3, because it's 1 of 4. That's why we put at the end of V for life, the same thing as the V here, in MVC, LXV. C, the C. The L is she. CL means sky. L, X. Lex. What's a Lex? LX. Selects. Who selects what? He selects a life. He selects 5. Medical doctor of creation, 1 and 3. The 1 spirit stick, the V for life, the 1 spirit stick. V in 1 is 4, V in 1 is 6. This is the letter M. This is the 13th letter. The 1 and 3, when you bring them together, creates the B. And I'll say this over again as it is. D is the 4th letter. M is the 13th. 1 and 3 is 4. 4 and 4 is 8. 8 and 3 is 11. 11 and the L letter is 23. We now have creation with the top letters that are above 50. Now we go below 50 to 10 and 5 and 1, and we recreate the rest of it. Here's the L going up, and here's the L going down. Here's a V on one corner to the V on the other. If you're inside this cube over here, in which understanding on, to me, how a cube was made, is it's actually 3 points of a triangle, and then they put 2 triangles on top of each other, and it creates a cube dice. And now, when you connect the 2 triangles together, the cube dice, you create a 0, or a square 0. Everything is bubbled. It's like an almond shape. I was taught this 2 years ago in my dreams. Don't forget about the almonds. Not only is it your mind, the separation and the in-between, but it's the rounding of everything else. It's almost like doing a quarter moon. Anyways, to get on to one more subject before I cut this close. I already cut it close. I shaved my mustache for my father. Thank you, Dad, for helping me out. Without my parents, I would not be here today. Thank you very much. What I was going to say next, I completely forgot. What I will say is this. WEN, okay? WEN is 555. Water, earth, or electric. The face, water, wind, water, earth, fire. They go to the center. There are 4 on the signs. The center is position 5. The 1 moves to the center. Calls it 6. We have 6 to the center to 4 on the outside. That means it takes 1.5 times of the 4 to create the 6. And that's the rules for blackjack. When you get blackjack, they pay you 1.5 times. Now, I know I'm just telling you like that, and it says, whoa, he just told us a story. Now, what's the truth of this story? Eventually, hopefully within the next year, I'll be able to conform and get this a little bit closer together, to slow myself down a little bit, to be able to show the interior look deeper into what I vision, because I see it as a trueness, as the heart of all matters. I can't actually explain. It's a crazy thing. I'll just show you something, just a little thing. Okay, since we have to work in 2 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I create the 3, 6, 9 box. When I create this box and I want to create a square like this, I end up crossing over here and it ends up shaping to an X. Before I flip it over onto this side, I only have a line. This is the line over here on this side of what brings 3 center over to 7. It's the same angle line of creation. This line, okay, brings over the 1 spirit of the 5 center of the elements of the 9 birth in this corner. That's why the solid line of the Aleph goes from here to here. And the question is it for creation or is it for the 1 spirit? The 1 spirit was created by God, and God created the 1 spirit, one for himself, or into the middle world, one for the east, one for the west. We have 3. When we bring it to 4, we bring on light, and then we go to Roman numerals and use V1 or 1V. When you go to Roman numerals and go 1x, it is 9. But then when you go to x1, it is 11. We now have 9 and 11. We cannot sit in 10. 10 goes nowhere. It's perfect. So we reduce to 7. And if we reduce to 7, we need to add 3 to 10 to make it 13. The 10 disappears, and now it lives inside of us. And that is the story of the way it usually goes, the way I understand it. I hope I was able to transmit this information. I always seem to look back at myself and say, well, and you know, there's so many things inside of it. The R stands on its own. There's so many things to do. The N has a flat back. The M has a flat back. The L has a flat back. The R and P's have flat backs. The B has a flat back. The C does not. Unless you're creating everything square and coming out from a different angle of the design, then there's a flat back, there's a round back, and there's the angled back, like the A, like the W. Not the U, because what the U is a bracket. It's a line down and a line down, and then it's a whoop, just a little loop. That's all it is. A loop, L-O-U-P, boule is a chicken. Loup in French is a wolf. So now you have to bring the 2 of these together. But if you describe wolf backwards, you would go with the flow. W-O-L-F, F-L-O-W. I met someone today that was wearing a red jacket. It was so red and her boots were so black, I thought she was going to hunt the foxes. 6th letter is F. 15th letter, 2.5 times 6. Center is the O. The bottom level, 7, 8, 9. 24 is the X. We have the fox. We have the wolf that howls at the moon. We have the foxhole. We go into the army. We call fox. 1800 hours. Everything is coded all over. We see it in front of us, but we don't take notice because it's broken up. We take the first and the last letter. If we were talking about fast, F-A-S-T, F and T, first and last, is F-T, and most people would take that for feet. The A and S would be in the center. They think you were a fat ass. F-T, center is ass. Blue or blank. What do we talk about white? How white comes around to be, but it never comes around to be white. Even when it burns in the fireplace, from the black coals to the cinders to the ash, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. How does white? In the eye, because it's the background to what the actual reality is. The black and the blue have more to do than anything. The white is a carrier and a transporter. There's a white spot on all the pull balls. Most cards have a white background. On Monopoly, the $1 is white. All the property cards or lot cards are white. But when you pick up chance, it's usually yellow. And community chest is usually blue. There are 3 positions on Monopoly of chance. One is a pink chance, one is a blue chance, and one is a red chance. In order to create the pink, you must take the red and the white. Then there's the community chest. They're all the same according to me. And in community chests, the bags of money are white. When you look at Go to Jail, he has white on his hands like the Holy Ghost is underneath the suit. When you go to jail or just visiting jail, when you see the man in the background behind the bars, You see him in the Holy Ghost jacket of white. White otherwise doesn't exist on Monopoly. There's borders and lines and separations of different colors telling of which world it is in. Whether it's roulette, they're sitting at a blackjack table with a round circle to put your money in. It's a round circle and there's nothing there. The round circle is not a zero, but it says zero because you haven't made a play. So when you put something in the middle of the zero in the betting spot of any of the games, it now says this spot is valued at this. And if this looks like 25 and you design it 25, then that's the value and that's the look. It's just that we have the understanding in the head that separates the actual view of how it actually comes to be through the hole. It's telling you there's a hole, you have to put something in it, what kind of chance are you going to take before you go through the passage. Hockey usually is played on white ice. Hockey is a funny game. So many things are funny. 100 years this for Titanic, 100 years for my synagogue. What is a bicentennial? When you have 4 quarters, you have a buck. But there was another thing I did today that was really, 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 really interesting. It's that when you get BBE, okay, it ends up saying 225. If you get one letter V and one E, Venus, take away the sun, VE is 225, electronic life. 225 is the pound key of the 9 spaces times 25, because everything is of a quarter, and it equals 225. But the center is not ours. So you only can have 8, which will equal to 200. You can't have it because it belongs to God. We live in the center of life, but we belong to God. It's 200 for us, and 1 quarter, the center, 5 by 5, the cross, the X of 1 and 9 and 3 and 7, 5 and 5 center equals 25, the quarter that we have to reconnect the 2 sides of 360 degrees. The 2 world, the 2 and 2 world is 4. The 4 extra days that give it the 364 degrees, or 360 degrees and 4, but ends up to be 364 days of the year. Plus the mug and David, like I said, 1, 9, 3, 7, but now we're going to cross 4, 6. 5, 5, 5, 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. And to look at the other side where it came from, 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15. A and E, or the O letter, A, E, and O, defeat, 8, break, how E and A come together, but seem to sound only as one sound. Raphael, 72, 86. What was my other question? I'm going to stop for now. Thank you.